There is a specific kind of person who gets hurt, deeply, unfairly, sometimes brutally, and does something that most people simply cannot understand. They don't plot, they don't post, they don't wait for karma, they just leave, quietly, completely, forever. And the most unsettling part? They seem perfectly fine doing it, not because they didn't feel the pain, but because something inside them decided a long time ago that the best revenge they could ever take was simply not needing it. We live in a world obsessed with getting even. Someone wrongs you, you're supposed to be angry. You're supposed to want justice. You're supposed to, at minimum, make sure they know they hurt you. But there exists a specific psychological profile of person for whom none of that is necessary. Not because they're emotionally numb, not because they don't care, but because their relationship with pain runs so deep, has been tested so many times, that they have developed something genuinely rare, a quiet internal court, where they are the judge, and they already ruled. The case is closed, the person is gone, and they moved on before anyone even noticed they had decided to. Here's what most people misread about this type of person. They assume moving on without revenge means the hurt wasn't real, that if you truly cared, you'd want something back, an apology, an acknowledgement, at least some small sign that what they did to you cost them something. But psychology tells us something completely different. The people who release without retaliating are often the ones who felt it the most. They lay awake, they replayed the moment, they drafted the message they never sent. They imagined every version of how things could have gone differently, and then, somewhere in that darkness, they made a decision that most people never make. They decided that the person who hurt them did not deserve a single more second of their mental real estate, not because it didn't matter, because they mattered more. There is a fundamental shift that happens inside a person when they reach this point. Psychologists studying emotional resilience describe it as a transition from reactive processing to self-directed healing. The moment the focus moves from what was done to you to what you choose to do next. And that shift, it is one of the most powerful psychological moves a human being can make. But here is where it gets fascinating, because it doesn't stop at just letting go. People who don't need revenge don't just walk away from the pain, they walk towards something. Watch them closely over the next year after being hurt. They go quieter, yes, but they also go harder. Something that was already there inside them gets activated. A drive, a focus, a silent, unspoken, completely internal standard that says, I am going to build something so good with my life that the person who underestimated me becomes a footnote, not a chapter, a footnote. This is not bitterness wearing the mask of peace. This is genuine redirection of energy, and it produces results that revenge never could. Because revenge keeps you in the story. It keeps you circling the same wound. It hands power back to the exact person who already took something from you. But moving on, truly moving on, that is the long game. And the people who play it almost always win it. They build careers that speak for themselves. They build relationships that heal what was broken. They build a version of themselves so far removed from the version that was hurt that the original wound becomes almost unrecognizable, not forgotten, transformed. And then there is the deepest layer of this, the one nobody talks about. People who don't need revenge have usually already been through enough to know something fundamental about pain that most people spend their whole lives trying to avoid learning. Pain passes, not immediately, not without leaving marks, but it passes. And every time it has passed before, every time they survived something they weren't sure they would survive, it deposited something inside them, a kind of cellular certainty, a knowledge, not intellectual, not theoretical, but deeply lived and deeply felt that they have been here before, in the dark, alone with something that felt unsurvivable, and they are still here. So when the next person comes along and decides to test them, to hurt them, to dismiss them, to underestimate them, they don't panic, they don't retaliate. They feel it, they process it, they carry it with them for a while, and then they set it down, because they already know how this ends. If you are this kind of person, if you have ever chosen silence over a fight you could have won, understand something. That choice was not weakness. It was the decision of someone who already knows their own worth. Someone who understands that their time, their energy, and their peace are far too valuable to spend on making sure someone else suffers. You didn't let them win. You just decided a long time ago that you were never playing their game. And that is the rarest kind of strength there is. And honestly, if any part of this video sat with you, I think you should watch the one on your screen next. It's about people who apologize too much and why it runs so much deeper than just a habit. I genuinely think you'll see yourself in it.